What is tourism? We've all been tourists at some point, and we all have, I think, a pretty good intrinsic idea of what tourism is all about. But when you get into the business of tourism, actually defining what it means becomes really, really important. The problem is it's complicated. I'm Professor Alan Rice, and welcome to TMD at OC. Let's talk tourism. The key issue that we have in defining tourism is that there's really no consensus on what the definition of tourism is or should be. Different organizations have different reasons for needing to define it. And what we need is a framework that's flexible and allows us to define tourism in ways that are useful to us from a planning and policy development framework. We need a system for defining tourism. When we're thinking of a tourism system, there's really three key dimensions that we need to consider. One, there's a spatial dimension. Think geography. Where do we start our trip? Where do we go on our trip? And what's the space in between? Second is a temporal dimension. Time. What is the length of our trip? Could range from day trips to getaways, holidays, or even extended vacations. And planning and policy dimensions is the third one. These range from individuals who engage in planning and policy to organizations and governments. We need to consider these dimensions in order to have a good definition of tourism. So let's start with the spatial dimension of tourism, defining the geographic elements of the tourism system. The geography elements of tourism have four key regions. There's the generating region. Think about home. This is where we live, work, and play on a regular basis. It's our normal environment. This is the originating region. Next is the destination. Where are we going on our tourism adventure? These could be individual cities or towns. It could be regions, countries, or even global regions. And the next is the transit region. This is the space between our originating region and the destination region. Finally, there's the environment. The environment includes the political environment, environmental considerations, economic, sociocultural, and technology environments. Tourism exists within these environments, and everything that we do in tourism interacts in some way with those environments. So the process is, one, we start in the originating region, we move through the transit region, we spend some amount of time in our destination, and then we go back through the transit region, finally ending up once again in our originating region or back home. That's the process of how tourism works, and it'll be how we're going to define tourism from a systems point of view. What we've just described is called Leiper's Tourism Systems Model. And it's a framework that we can use to apply to definitions of tourism. So let's start with a definition, and we can use Leiper's model to evaluate that definition. The definition I'm going to use is the United Nations World Tourism Organization's definition of tourism. And it says that tourism comprises the activities of persons traveling to and staying in places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, and other purposes. So there are a few things that we can look at using the systems model. First, according to the United Nations, tourism has to be outside of our normal environment, our originating region. So that means that we have to leave where we normally are in terms of our everyday activities, where we live, work, and play, and go to some other place, traveling to a destination. The travel can occur for any purpose, really, except for where you are traveling to a destination and you are working and being paid by an organization that is in the destination region. So you can travel for work, but you have to be paid in your originating region and collecting a normal paycheck. You can travel and do work and still be considered as a tourist. If I were to travel from my originating region to a destination region and work for a company there and get paid by them, then that would not be counted as tourism. The other key piece of the definition is a temporal definition, so talking about time. The UNWTO says that the trip can't be for more than 1 year. If you're traveling for more than 1 year, the UNWTO would consider you a migrant or a temporary migrant, not a tourist. Another key piece that isn't in the definition but is generally accepted is that the space between the originating region and the destination region has to be at least 80 kilometers. That's not a hard, fast number, and it's one of the pieces of the tourism definition that changes dramatically from organization to organization and tourism body to tourism body. So just to cap it off, tourism then involves the displacement of people outside their usual environment. People can travel for any purpose different from being remunerated in the place visited for a duration of not more than 1 year, and there needs to be about 80 kilometers at least distance between the originating region and the destination region. Okay, so there you have it. That's my take on defining tourism. I hope you found this content valuable, and check in later for more content on TMD at OC.